I just got my Amazon package with DJI Pocket 3 yesterday, which means I paid for it with my own money, so I hope I can be as unbiased as possible. I got myself the creator combo, and after playing with it for half an hour inside, I decided to test it in low light since it was quite late already, so I took it for a spin outside. Some people even claim that DJI Pocket 3 is the low light beast, but I do not share that opinion after the tests, although I might be missing something, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying it's bad in low light, but I have done the comparison with Panasonic S5IIX. They were mounted together on this bracket. I know it's kinda unfair, but let's take a look anyway. I used Panasonic with 18mm f1.8 at f1.8, mostly in Vlog and color graded with the enhancer. The maximum ISO for Panasonic has been set to 12,800 and it's been there the whole time. All shooting parameters are on the screen for each camera. The footage is kinda raw, but I'd like to share it because maybe you are deciding at the moment to buy or not to buy the DJI Pocket, so this might be helpful. Generally, I'm really impressed with the camera. First impressions of tracking, wireless mic and ease of use are very positive. I'm actually recording this using internal mode of DJI Mic 2 to see how it compares to my MKE 600. And after reviewing the footage, I would say that low light performance is not bad for such a small sensor, but it's not perfect. And please actually judge it yourself. If you want to buy it, the affiliate link is in the description. You can also support me on Patreon since these cameras are getting really expensive nowadays. Cheers, mate!
Okay, I want to make a quick comparison of low light performance of the DJI Pocket 3 and Panasonic S5IIX. I know it's kinda unfair, but the Pocket is kinda advertised as having good low light performance, and I've seen that Panasonic already struggled, and the lighting is not perfect because Panasonic is kinda blocking the light for DJI, and Panasonic struggled with autofocus when I started recording. Now it's okay, it's kinda dark here. There are only street lamps, but the street lamps are directed to the street, not to the sidewalk. And Panasonic looks okay. I already tested Instago 3, it's terrible in this lighting. I tested Sony A6600, it's also terrible. I haven't tested A7 IV, but the base ISO, the second base ISO for A7 IV is 3200 and for Panasonic is 4000, so it should be better, at least a bit better. It's like, I don't know, 1/3 of the stop, but still. And I'm shooting in log on Panasonic, and log is famous to be working not that best regarding the autofocus in such conditions. And at the moment it seems it keeps on my eye, and also why it is unfair that Panasonic got f1.8 but this got in theory f2. And Panasonic, I set the maximum ISO to 12,800, and it seems that the exposure is at 0 EV, so doesn't look bad. And on the DJI I'm using low light mode, so it seems the highest possible ISO is 16,000, so higher. And it says that EV is -0.3, -0.7, sometimes it says +0.3, so it depends where I am. But of course the quality on DJI on the screen looks much worse because the sensor is smaller. But then I guess I would test log and normal profile, and what I've seen that log goes only up to 3200 of the ISO, so that would be probably much worse in low light. In this mode I do not have face tracking on the DJI, but it seems that I'm in focus anyway, so I'll switch the mode, and everything is 4K 25 frames per second, and the shutter angle is 180 degrees. I could cheat a bit and set the shutter angle to 360, but at the moment I'm checking this, and I guess then I will move to better lighting conditions. Okay, I will stop the DJI and check normal mode. Okay, now I got normal mode with face tracking on DJI, and the maximum ISO here is 6400, so it is twice as low as on Panasonic. On Panasonic I set the high limit to 12,800, so Panasonic got an advantage here in normal mode. And then I will check D-Log, but it seems that in D-Log it is only 3200 the maximum ISO on DJI, so it's not that beast of the low light. And I think the Panasonic is losing autofocus sometimes, but it's hard to say, I'm not 100% sure. And the good thing about the DJI is that it got the 32-bit float recording internally even, it seems, so that's really nice. And DJI set is -1, -1.3 EV, so it is definitely underexposed in this mode. Now the DJI is in high-log gamma, the Panasonic is still in the same mode, so it is V-Log, and ISO does not change on Panasonic, so it is 12,000 all the time. And on the DJI the ISO is probably at 3200, and it says it's -1.7 EV, so it is definitely underexposed. So the only advantage might be that stabilization is much better than the IB stabilization, but definitely the low light performance would be better on the Panasonic, but the stabilization might be better on DJI. And I'm not sure about the autofocus, but it seems it keeps my face tracked, so probably it's quite good, but on this small screen it's hard to say. So now I'll switch to D-Log, and again in D-Log the maximum ISO is also 3200, so it won't be that impressive, but maybe I could do something in post. Yeah, so I'm still rolling on the Panasonic, same mode. It is very dark here. This is the small part of the street when there are no lamps, street lamps, so I have to move a bit. And I'm going through the bike line, but it's really late, so. And it seems that Panasonic is doing okay, although there might be a lot of noise at this level of the ISO, and DJI is in D-Log, so the maximum ISO is 3200. And I've seen that some people have been able to display the ISO and frame rate or the shutter speed on the screen, so probably I have to dig in the menu to get this, but based on what I see on the screen, definitely the image quality is better on Panasonic. I mean, it's full frame versus 1 inch, but a lot of people shield this DJI Pocket 3 as a low light beast and stuff like that. I doubt it's true. It's definitely better than Instago 3, but it's not that good as some people say, at least what I see on the screen. But I'll then move to a bit different lighting scenario. I think it's a bit brighter on the other street because lampposts are smaller. So I will check this in a second. So at the moment is V-lock on Panasonic and D-lock on DJI, and DJI says it's minus 2.3 V, so definitely very underexposed. Okay, I thought it's brighter here, but still the auto ISO of Panasonic is at 12,000, so it is not brighter it seems, but I'm in low light mode on the DJI and the exposure seems better. Okay, I'm going. So the exposure seems better on the DJI now, so maybe it is brighter, hard to say, but this street seems to be brighter because the lamps are directed on the street, which is the sidewalk at the same time. So in the low light I do not have the tracking, and this diode on the microphone is really visible, and I get an impression that Panasonic is losing focus, but maybe it's some fog on the lens because it's quite cold, so maybe there is a condensation on the lens, hard to say, but I think not. And on DJI I'm not tracked in this mode, so I will probably switch to normal and got the tracking to see, but maybe the tracking is not needed, hard to say. And I see the lights are overexposed because I got zebras on Panasonic. Let me switch. Okay, so now DJI is on the in the normal mode, but I can track my face now. Now my face is tracked, so that's the really nice thing of the DJI, but the exposure doesn't look that good as on Panasonic, but I think that Panasonic is losing focus here from time to time, so there is no cross on my face, and even the box is sometimes missing, so it's not that this is that good. But probably the reason is that I'm shooting log on Panasonic, so maybe I will switch to normal mode for a second and see. Let me check. Okay, I have switched to normal mode or neutral, natural, or whatever that is on Panasonic, and it seems that now my face is overexposed. It's really weird, but ISO is on auto, so not sure about that, but probably the autofocus would work better because the autofocus in lock modes is quite problematic in low light scenario because there is not enough contrast for it to work. Even if this is the face detection autofocus, even A7 IV struggles in low light in lock. So now I'm checking different color profile, so it's not the log anymore on Panasonic, and it seems it keeps focus better than in log. And the DJI seems not to struggle with keeping the focus, and it says it's minus 0.3, minus 0.7 EV, so it is not that underexposed, and Panasonic seems now overexposed in this mode, so it's hard to say because I got even first level of zebras on my face, so I will be able to check this on a bigger screen. It doesn't look that bad, but for some reason it is a bit overexposed on Panasonic, seems so. But the DJI doesn't seem to suck that much. For sure it is 10 times better than Insta-Go 3, and I think it's much better, or maybe there is a chance it's better than Sony A6600, which in this lighting scenario struggled a lot with autofocus. So yeah, okay, and based on the vectorscope or whatever that is. The exposure is correct on Panasonic actually, but yeah, I will check the footage on the computer to see what is about the exposure, the noise levels, and autofocus in all the modes. Cheers, mate.